Hey guys, Shane here from Genesis Off-Road, and today we are installing one of our 12-volt power outlet harness kits into the JL. The Jeeps have a 12-volt socket in the back already, but the limitation with those is the wiring is very small. It doesn't carry a lot of current, so a lot of times people have trouble running a fridge off that factory outlet. Plus, remember, the factory outlet goes through your fuse box, which is powered by the cranking battery. So if you want to run a fridge with the engine turned off, or really anything else, if you're charging up your camera batteries, your drone, your iPads, whatever you need to run power in the back of the vehicle, get you a dedicated power outlet kit. This is a 20-foot long wire harness, 12 gauge wire, so plenty heavy duty enough to run anything you're going to need. It already comes with the ring terminals, the correct size to go onto our power and ground bus bars. You got a 20 amp fuse built in and connectors to go on the back of a 12-volt socket, or we also make it with dual USB charging ports for your any kind of mobile devices that need to be charged with a USB outlet. So we're going to talk about how to install this today. It's real simple, but we're going to start up here under the hood, and I'll show you how to get the wire harness through the firewall and inside the vehicle first. Okay, to get started, we're looking under the hood by the dual battery kit. We've got our power and ground bus bars here. This is where we're going to connect this into the harness. Now, we're going to start laying out the wire harness along the firewall to get inside the vehicle, but we don't want to connect this in just yet so that the other end isn't carrying hot voltage. So we're just going to kind of secure this here close to the batteries for the moment, and we'll come back and hook these up later. So you can see on my Jeep, I've already got one installed. I've got here's the inline fuse on the power bus bar. I just tuck this fuse down here out of the way, and right over here is our ground wire on our bus bars. And I've already got this kind of tucked down here below the battery tray, running along the firewall, tucked up behind the fuse box out of the way. And we'll come over here to the other side and I'll show you where that goes through the firewall. Okay, now we're on the driver's side of the engine bay, and you can see our G-screen harness going through here, as well as this wire loom for the 12-volt outlet. And that's going right down in here through that large black rubber grommet on the firewall. You can slit that with a razor blade and then poke the connectors through there, and then come through to the footwell, driver's footwell. And once you poke those connectors through there, you'll be able to reach right up in here, and you'll be able to feel those wires coming through right up in the corner of the footwell area. Go ahead and pull all that slack out, pull all the slack through here to the driver's side, and then all we're going to do is pop these panels loose. These are just held in place with some little clips. So you pry these up, and each one of them will pop loose like this. And we can take this little cover for the door connector. We can pop that loose as well. Take that off and route that wire right down through this plastic, right through the plastic shroud here, the plastic trim. So all we want to do is pull this back enough to get that trim back behind here. Now on the JK, this piece is a lot easier to remove. On the JL, there's a little fastener right back here that holds this plastic piece in place. So you'll want to kind of climb up in here, remove that, and then this will pop out of the way. Once you get it under here, you can see that our harness is already routed right down in this little channel. So we're just going to route it right along here, prying the plastic pieces off as we go, tucking it up into there, push a little slack in there, and then go on down to the next piece. So we'll come down here to the back door. We'll pop that loose just enough so that we can grab it, continue to run it along this channel, and this carpet we'll just pull right out from the door channel like this. We're going to route the cable right up behind the carpet all the way to the back, and I'll show you on the seat belt mechanism housing here. There is a little air void right down in here that's a perfect spot for that outlet. So to get this open, this cover pops off with these little clips. So we'll move that out of the way. And then this piece is going to separate like this. Once you take that apart, if you look down behind here, you'll notice that there's an air void under the seatbelt mechanism, and that's where we'll put the outlet. If we take a look at this power outlet here, you see there's a plastic nut, and once we drill a hole in here, we'll pop that in there, and then this plastic nut will hold it in place in that panel. So you're going to need a 1 1/8 inch drill bit. So I like to use a step bit. If you're not familiar with these, they start off with a fine point so that your drill bit isn't walking around and moving on you, and then it slowly steps up to a larger and larger hole as you go down. So this one goes up to a 1 1/8 inch at the end here. So we can start drilling that hole, and it makes a nice clean circle to pop that power outlet into. So once we get our hole drilled here and we get the outlet mounted, if you look back behind there, there's on the back of that outlet, there's a couple of spade terminals, and they're labeled positive and negative. Look closely right there, make sure you get the right one. So when we bring our harness under the carpet and under the trim piece here, we're just going to connect these little spade terminals to the correct spade on the back here. So red goes to the positive one, and these are a pretty firm fit, so they're not going to fall off. Black one goes to the negative. You're going to snap those on there like that, and then we'll just tuck all this back together, put all this plastic trim back together, and that's all there is to it. So tuck this back in here. These pieces snap back together like that. Put our cap back on top here, and that's all there is. Okay, now that we've got our wire harness routed all the way through the vehicle, now we're ready to hook up the end to the batteries. So make sure you do this part last. So you want to make sure you run from this direction through the vehicle. Don't start at the back of the vehicle and run the harness this way, because you won't be able to get this fuse holder through the firewall. So start this way and run the wire harness to the back of the vehicle. So now that you've got your harness all the way up here, you're going to use a 1/2 inch socket to remove the nut and the lock washer on the ground bus bar, and you'll use a 9/16 socket to remove the nut and lock washer from the positive bus bar, and then just connect your wires under there. If you've got multiple devices on here already, just kind of groom these wires where everything lays out nice and neat. You can see I've got my power outlet kit on the bottom here, below my winch, and my quick connect cables on the front bumper. So you can put multiple devices on this center stud here, just stack those up, and that's really all there is to it. So now you've got a dedicated power outlet that's going to be running off of your second battery. So now you can run your fridge, your camera batteries, your iPads, your drones, whatever you need to power back here without draining down your cranking battery. Remember, that's what it's all about. We're trying to protect that cranking battery from getting drained by your aftermarket accessories. Now that we're done with installing this one, if you want to run more than one power outlet in the back of the Jeep, maybe you want the 12 volt for the fridge on this side, and maybe the dual USBs on the other side for charging up phones in the back seat, something like that, you can run from this one over to the other outlet. If you know how to do the wiring, if you're comfortable with running custom wiring, you can splice into this. That 12 gauge wire is plenty heavy duty enough to run more than one outlet if you choose to do so. That would be more of a custom install, so you need to know what you're doing there. But otherwise, just run a second power outlet down the passenger side carpet over to the other side and have a second outlet over there. You can see these on our website under the power outlet section. Click on power outlets. You can see the 12 volt socket and the dual USB charging socket. Hey, I hope that video helped you out. If it was helpful to you, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. That really does help us out. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment in the comment section down below or send us an email. And remember, it all starts with power.